Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking a literally wild, fast-moving political standoff that recently unfolded in New Delhi. We're going to break down exactly what happened, relying strictly on the original source reports to navigate through a day of intense anti-government protests over education reform and paper leaks. Buckle up, because this is a story of political maneuvering, unexpected tactics, and some seriously high-stakes confrontation.
Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does a simple cake-cutting ceremony for an 84th birthday transform in a matter of minutes into a massive political showdown right at the doorstep of the Prime Minister's residence? I mean, talk about a plot twist, right? To understand how surprising this event really was, we have to look at the stealth tactics the opposition used, which caught the authorities completely off guard.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the decoy and the march.
So looking at the timeline, the whole thing was kept strictly under wraps until the very last second. Picture this. It's 3 p.m. Congress members of Parliament are instructed to gather at the house of their party president, Mallikarjun Kharge, for his 84th birthday. The stated purpose? Just a cake cutting. But as soon as they get there, leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi drops a bombshell and informs the assembled MPs of a sudden change in plans. And without even waiting for a reaction, he just sets off on foot. The MPs follow him on a totally surprise 100-meter march straight to the rear entrance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's residence. What followed? A massive 3-hour sit-in.
Which brings us right to Section 2, standoff at the PM's home.
So, for 3 tense hours, it's a total stalemate. We're talking a major event led by the principal opposition party. And Rahul Gandhi wasn't there alone. Top opposition leaders, including Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav, were right there on the ground. Now, the government realizes things are escalating, so they dispatch 2 high-level emissaries to negotiate. Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and Home Secretary Govind Mohan. They speak directly to Mr. Gandhi to try and resolve the sit-in, but those talks? Yeah, they completely failed.
And that gives us a classic Rashomon effect in Section 3, competing claims on demands.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast in the two narratives. On one hand, you've got the government's claim. Dr. Jitendra Singh basically accused Rahul Gandhi of shifting the goalposts, saying he was just in a mood for conflict. According to Dr. Singh, Congress initially said they'd leave if they got a detailed parliamentary debate on the paper leaks. But then, he alleges, they suddenly tossed in a brand new, non-negotiable demand, the resignation of the Union Education Minister. Now, flip over to the other side. Congress completely denies this. I mean, flat-out rejection. They insist they had a fixed, unchanging set of multifaceted demands right from the absolute beginning.
So, what exactly were those demands? Well, Congress insists Rahul Gandhi laid out 4 very specific points during those negotiations. Number 1, the resignation of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Number 2, actual accountability for Delhi police officials who allegedly attacked students, plus a direct statement from the Prime Minister about Monday's events. Third, a parliamentary debate on the whole paper leak issue. And fourth, dropping all charges against protesters who were picked up by the police the day before. You know, these are super specific, and they go way beyond just asking for a debate, which kind of explains why those talks fractured so badly.
With talks completely stalled out, we hit Section 4, detentions and public fallout.
Our source reports that the police eventually moved in to forcibly clear the area outside the PM's residence, and this led to the detention of several high-profile leaders. Rahul Gandhi actually physically resisted the police intervention by lying flat on the road. The detained MPs, which included Akhilesh Yadav and Priyanka Gandhi, were then basically scattered. They were held at various police stations all across the capital and kept there until they were finally released late on Tuesday night.
As you can imagine, the physical removal of these leaders was incredibly tense. The report notes that as she was being carried away by the police, Priyanka Gandhi literally shouted, "Narendra Modi is a coward." It's a moment that really captures the immense friction and hostility on the ground, as the sit-in was being dismantled. Later on, Congress Parliamentary Party Chairperson Sonia Gandhi even showed up at the Mandir Marg police station where Priyanka was being held, right as party workers were protesting outside.
And the public messaging? It didn't stop, even from inside detention. While being held at Chhatrasol Stadium, Rahul Gandhi posted a message on X, framing the whole ordeal entirely around the students affected by the paper leaks. He challenged the Prime Minister directly, basically saying, try every pressure you want, exert all your might, but this fight for justice for students isn't going to stop. He made it crystal clear that clearing them from the PM's house wasn't going to end their campaign for education reform.
But to really get the full picture here, we have to look at Section 5, the parallel protest site.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the broader momentum of the day was shifting. Over at Jantara Montar, people were regrouping. Just look at this massive jump in numbers. In the morning, you had maybe 200 to 300 people. But by the evening, the crowd had swelled to 3,000. It was spilling out onto the radiating roads, with hundreds more gathered at the entrances. And what's absolutely crazy about this surge is that according to the source text, security forces had almost entirely cleared that same area just the day before in a really severe crackdown. A crackdown that reportedly used shock batons and pellet guns on civilians for the first time in Delhi. But despite all that, the crowds came surging back in massive numbers.
Now, quick aside here, for the sake of transparency regarding our source material today. The newspaper clipping we're analyzing literally refers to this gathering at Jantar Mantar as the, quote, cockroach Janta Party protest site, unquote. This appears to be a pejorative play on the Common Man's Party, or Aam Aadmi Party. We are just presenting this verbatim exactly as it appears in the original text, so you can see the specific language and framing that the source itself used.
The opposition, for their part, clearly viewed everything that happened that day, both the massive crowds at Jantar Mantar and the physical confrontation at the PM's residence, as a massive turning point. Speaking from his own detention at the stadium, Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal said the government's real face had been exposed by manhandling the leader of the opposition and attacking students. He wrapped up the day with a really bold prediction, declaring it the beginning of the end for the current regime.
So what does this all mean for us? Well, the lines are now firmly drawn over education reform and paper leaks. Think about it. A decoy birthday march, a 3-hour standoff, totally disputed negotiations, and thousands of protesters rallying despite a crackdown. It has all dramatically raised the stakes. So how will this sudden physical escalation impact the ongoing political fight, both out there on the streets of New Delhi and inside the halls of Parliament? That is the big question we need to watch as this story continues to unfold. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and remember, always keep questioning what you read.